Part 43. Exploring the World, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 421. Although everything in front of me is enough to deceive people, including but not limited to this weird corpse, the appearance of the corpse, the energy flowing nearby, the scene like the world is shattered, corpse only. But yes, she knew in an instant that this was not him. Well, although I haven't seen my future body, I still have some awareness of how my body could die in this place. To make the atmosphere so weird and solemn, all I need is BGM to add to the fun. This wave of operations is really too obvious. So yes, she sneered a few times, and took a few steps back with caution and courage. I only saw. Black smoke suddenly rose from behind, and the rotten smell that had faded slightly came out again, and became heavier. Originally, only the area near the calf was full of rotten flesh, and the raft lying underneath was all covered in black mold and white spots, but now this kind of decay quickly spread to the entire lower body, and the dense white bones were exposed. These white bones were all covered with spots, and then the power of time quickly spread on them, revealing the smell of decay. Yes, she took 2 steps back slightly. By the way, I took the key that represented the dream world in my hand. When I was about to ask the world consciousness if I could use the key to solve the thing in front of me, I turned my head and found that the other person was running faster than me. The system severely spurned this. Ding, the host has seen it. It turns out that only I am your best partner. Just when the system beeped, a voice full of fear came from a distance. Father God, that's yourself. Yes, she just wanted to give it a hammer. How dare he talk so nonsense? No, this sound didn't come from far away. Yes, she suddenly reacted. When I look back, a face exactly like his own has been posted on it. This scene is so horrifying, the people are so close that they are nose to nose and eye to eye, and you can see the fine hair on the other person's face. Yes, He silently held his sword and raised his hand. The result is at this moment. The eyes on this face exactly like his. Sudden. Opened your eyes. If he only opened his eyes, yes, she would not be told the quintessence of Chinese culture. But it wasn't just like this in front of Yeshi. Because the moment the other person's eyes opened, its body was suddenly covered with thick layers of red hair. The red hair also began to fall down, and then fell on Yeshi's body. I saw the atmosphere suddenly change from a dreamy bubble to gloomy and terrifying. The rotting corpse had already stood up, its body covered with terrifying red hairs. Thick red hairs covered its body, covering the rotting places. It looked like it had just crawled out of an extremely evil hell. Like a scary ghost. Howling ghost cries began. The whistling cave entrance is blown by the wind. Even the yellow sand began to roll up all over the sky. This scene was so familiar. If Yeshi was doing a live broadcast, I don't know how many people would be so surprised that their eyes would fall down. This is not an illusion, nor is it due to the power of dreams. Because the bottom and core area of the dream world is actually the place with the least power of dreams. Moreover, if there is the power of fantasy mixed in. As the real master of dreams, how could Yeshi not notice it? This is true. It really couldn't be truer. Yeshi's hand has even blown through the long yellow sand, and he can grasp this real existence with a little stretch of his hand. The red hair comes with the yellow sand effect, right? This is really, really damn. Oh, my heavenly Lord, my Haoshan God, what the hell is this? Yes, she looked at a pair of eyes filled with black blood and extremely ferocious aura among the thick red hair, and felt particularly surprised. Don't be surprised, then. After all, it's been a long time since I saw red hair. There is also a red-haired monster with red hair that is unknown for thousands of years and is inside Baidu. He had come into contact with a red-haired monster once, So Yeshi compared the differences between the two red-haired monsters this time. Got it? The red-haired monster in front of me is far more powerful than usual. The red hair that fell from its body was stained with a lot of blood, and the slightly red-black blood stains also had a lot of rotten smell. Yeshi tried hard to distinguish the other person's eyes from the body covered with red hair. After pondering for a while, he asked, "Brother, do we know each other? If you don't know me, don't look like me. If you know me, don't do it either." This is what Yeshi has thought about for a long time. He has always been an explorer who advocates peace, and has no intention of fighting with the other party. Of course, it would be more convincing if he put down his sword. Goo goo hoo 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 ha. A series of strange sounds came out of the other party's throat. More than that, Yeshi also saw something very familiar. That is a live broadcast room that looks very similar to his live broadcast room. Yeshi, Tongzi, do you have any other branches? Ding, there is only one in the world. Even if there is, it is all pirated goods, which is completely different from my pure and genuine system. Yeshi understood. The other party's live broadcast room was opened. At the beginning, the direction of the live broadcast room was only facing Yeshi with a red hairy face. Although he had red hair on his face, people who were familiar with Yeshi could recognize him at once. At this moment, everything turned upside down. The genuine Yeshi let the system access the other party's live broadcast room and then closed it. Ding, the system is connecting, 30 seconds countdown, successful connection, 29. Tongzi counted in Yeshi's ear. And the new red-haired monster on the opposite side grinned and looked at Yeshi with a weird smile. You know who I am, but are you willing to admit it? Have you forgotten that we are all from another world, and many things in this universe are just words recorded on paper in another world? Have you forgotten who you are? The whistling wind and the coldness that filled the void suddenly intensified. Yeshi turned on the silent mode within this layer when the other party said the first sentence. What a joke. This is in the dream world. As the owner of the dream, how could he be stabbed? Silent mode means that no sound or information can be transmitted, and don't even think about lip reading. The 30 seconds passed very slowly. So slowly that after saying these words, the red-haired monster actually had time to say other words. You still don't want to believe it? Do you want me to tell you the name of your real home planet? Earth. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 422. 3, 2, 2, ding, the system is connected successfully. This system has fully controlled the live broadcast room, and has shielded and closed the live broadcast room. Do you want to destroy it? Keep it and see if you can find out anything. Yeshi quickly answered the systematic questions in his mind, and at the same time heard the word Earth. Looking at a person who looks exactly like me, and also has red hair, speaking of the Earth, for anyone, there is no doubt that this is a terrifying murder weapon. For Yeshi. Although it is not a big killer, it did make him extremely surprised. He even began to wonder whether the dream world was good or bad for him, and whether he had fallen into the trap of the other party when he followed the dream. This thought was dancing in his heart very quickly. But they are just like a dragonfly on the water, passing quickly. Because Yeshi grasped the sword early. Oh, what about Earth, then what? Think you can shake my mind? Then you think it's a little too simple. To be honest, I haven't liked your face for a long time. What I hate the most is someone who looks like me. I will find out what happened here one by one, but you, this red-haired one, stop appearing in front of me. If you don't feel awkward, I still feel awkward. The sword in Yeshi's hand was already swinging. It seemed to be motionless, but in fact, all kinds of power had been stirred up and fell on his sword body. In the dream world. Yeshi didn't use his immortal power much, but gathered all the divine power together. The divine light that fills the sky is like flashing bubbles. Every bubble contains boundless power and world, and life can be easily lost in the bubble. The moon under the water appeared under the divine sword. The first layer of vision possesses the power of the moon. Suddenly, overlapping mirrors appeared all around, and in each mirror were flowers all over the sky, 9-colored fireflies, so beautiful. Mirror flowers and water moon appeared in total. Besides, the divine sword is also attached with the blessing from the world consciousness. It is the dream world consciousness and the sword that are integrated into one. The power contained in this sword is becoming more and more frightening. Suddenly, there was a bang. All the mirrors suddenly shattered. And the moon in the water was also fished out. The waning moonlight brought countless coldness, and the sea water poured into the sky. At this time, even the big hole in the abyss did not show any sense of existence. Instead, it seemed to disappear suddenly. It's like a large amount of sea water was introduced from the abyss. With a bang, the majestic power will cover everything in front of it. Yeshi's expression was still very calm. Even the sword in his hand was swung just a little bit, and it exerted such terrifying power. Therefore, when the sword swings again, even some beings in the dream world couldn't help but tremble. But the red-haired monster in front still smiled coldly, with a poisonous smile in his eyes. Yeshi, you are me. Yeshi thought the other party was farting. The sword was swung like this. Under this sword. It's as if everything disappears under the sword. All cease to exist. And the moment the sword slashed down, those red hairs and yellow sands suddenly disappeared. A rotten corpse whose appearance was no longer visible fell onto the bamboo raft again. It seemed to be slowly repairing its body. The face that had been unable to be clearly seen quickly became clear. The appearance of this corpse was no longer that of Yeshi. Instead, he became someone else. The dream consciousness broke away from the divine sword and breathed a long sigh of relief. Father God, it turns out this is the reason why the dream world began to collapse. It's too dangerous, Father God. The dream consciousness is still chattering. Yeshi put away his sword and walked over from the side. Tongzi, are these 3 corpses? Ding, yes, and it reflects your 3 corpses. Yeshi rubbed his eyebrows with a headache. He didn't know how much uproar that short 30-second live broadcast caused, but he was helpless. Then why are there red hairs? Was it beheaded because it was full of red hairs? You have practiced to the point of beheading 3 corpses, but there is still no way to avoid this vicious curse. Ding, you can't. Moreover, the opponent failed to kill 3 corpses. The reason why he failed was precisely because of this curse. Please pay attention to the host and treat the curse with caution. This kind of curse must have something to do with the Heavenly Lord in Baidu. Otherwise, how could it affect the monk who killed 3 corpses? It's quite scary when it first appears. If I hadn't known that I couldn't be here, anyone else would have been very upset. He sighed. Why do I feel like I took over a mess? Can there be something good and complete that I can take over? Yeshi was really speechless, but thinking of these 3 corpses, there was a way. That is to put it next to Taishuag. Tongzi, what do you think? The system was silent for a while, and this time the silence was far longer than the previous one. But at last it began to speak. Could it be that the host wants to change its power from lawful neutral to chaotic evil? Ding, the 3 corpses are the gathering of the evil side of everything, and the host wants the 3 corpses to be with Taishu. Does it want to cultivate weapons that can destroy the multiverse or even different dimensions? Ding, host, can you hope that the universe will be better? Yeshi. The consequences are so serious. What about Taisu who caused the fall of heaven? Was it also affected in this way? Otherwise, Yeshi is the protagonist. This brain is spinning so fast. The root cause suddenly came to mind. This time the system was silent for 3 seconds and then spoke. Ding, host, there is a certain reason for this. Please explore and enjoy the fun of exploration. Yashi understood. As soon as he understood this, he thought of the immortal killing sword stuck on the Nantian gate. Good guy. Now, some things can be completely colluded. Yashi thought carefully in his mind. Although he was not 100% sure, he was 90% sure. But the most important thing now is obviously not Tai Su Tianting and the Zuxian sword, which seemed to have nothing to do with him. But something else. For example, how should we deal with this almost endless dream world that has so many layers? Yashi waved. Called the dream consciousness over. At the same time, he held the key to the dream world in his hand and asked. Who was the last owner of dream power? How did he die? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yu Pian Hai. Chapter 423. Yashi's question was obviously very direct to the point. So the dream consciousness has been stuck for a long, long time. Yashi was not in a hurry. He waved the dream in his hand, chatting with the system and observing the world. God the Father. I'm not your father God. If you really want to shout, why don't you choose someone else? Owner. As for your question, I don't know. The God who was in control at that time had already fallen into perdition before he could return to the dream world, and later even fell into death. Therefore, for the question you asked, the system I don't know, but Master, don't worry, as long as you don't leave the dream world, you will never fall into death. Yashi thanked the other party for the reminder, and then looked at the key in his hand with some hesitation. He always felt that this was a big pit, and he didn't know what pits were waiting for him to step into, so he actually didn't want to control this dream world. Moreover, the current dream world is very dangerous, with all kinds of fallen immortals, beings in the abyss, and evil demons wandering in it. If he wants to control the dream world, he must clean up these existences. This is not a day's work. With Yashi's current strength, it also requires long-term efforts, and he obviously does not have such time. But in the end, Yashi still put the dream key into his pocket, and at the same time, he pushed the 3 corpses and the bamboo raft through the big hole opened in the dream world and pushed the other party into the abyss. Then he consumed his own strength and applied a lot of divine power to the dream world, and then repaired the big hole. Perfect. Yashi knew that what he did might bring great danger. But when the sky falls, there is a tall person holding it up. The universes of parallel worlds can overlap, and he doesn't care about such major events that may affect the universe. But after the last layer of the dream world was repaired, Yashi felt that the power of the dream authority in his body had expanded even more, and so did the strength of his body, which made him deep in thought. After letting the dream consciousness turn this fixed last layer into a random wandering interspersed, he left the dream world. Call. A heavy breathing sound. Yashi woke up instantly, and then saw a bubble stacked among the dream bubbles on the side. Call. The sound of breathing changed to lightness and relaxation. I have been falling for so long that even when I wake up from the dream, I still feel like I am falling. I always feel like there is something wrong with this dream world. He stood up, stretched out, and felt completely quiet. Even the sound of clear water flowing and the sound of wind blowing were gone. Only then did he think that he seemed to hear a shouting voice while he was half asleep, and then was mute. So he quickly removed the silent mode of the world. After the pangolin found that he couldn't make a sound in his throat, he was frightened for a while, but he didn't expect that the next second, the world would become normal. Leaves, Leaves. Yes, she had a headache listening to this title, but finally got off Kunpeng's body and landed next to him. What's the matter? Oh yes, I remembered it. I want to send you out now. Also, staying here will affect the display of your strength. Wait a minute, I'll open the door and take you out right away. Don't worry yet. I won't go, I won't go. It's so dangerous outside. I'd rather stay in your world until I grow old and die than go out. What if something unexpected happens? My life is not as hard as yours. Don't pull me. Even if you pull me, I won't go with you. I'm a stable person. This was also the first time Yeshi saw such a noisy person. Oh no, it was the first time he had encountered such a noisy existence. As soon as his eyes moved, he suddenly thought of how to fight fire with fire. He immediately pulled Baihu over and let the two idiots play together. As for himself, went to the top of the Kunlun sacred tree. I practiced next to Teishu egg. When Ye woke up, he found that the yellow talisman attached to Teishu's egg moved slightly. Many forces wanted to find the dream power, but in the end, they found Teishu's body. Almost instantly, the power chasing Huangfu was completely withdrawn without any hesitation. The Teishu egg still looks like an egg, and it is completely unlike how the clone felt about him when he encountered it. Yeshi remained calm and expected everything that happened in front of him. But next, there is one important thing that needs to be done. Yeshi resolved the inconsistency in the flow of time. Adjust the time in the world to the time outside. Then he opened what the system said was a live broadcast room with overlapping parallel worlds. After clicking the button, Yeshi sat upright. His appearance was much more serious than usual. In this live broadcast room, Yeshi chose to broadcast it to the outside world. Meaning, as long as there are immortal beings who are qualified to know the parallel world and can find the system's live broadcast room signal, they can appear in this live broadcast room. Originally, he just wanted to see how many people were secretly peering into the overlapping parallel worlds. But I never expected that. Many familiar faces suddenly appeared. Tai Shanglajun, long time no see. Tom Cat, long time no see, little sea god. Nameless, haha, what kind of live broadcast room is this, how come I am connected to it again? I am God, this live broadcast room seems a little special, why are there only a few of us? Master. Bird of good news, oh, the live broadcast has started, is there another happy event coming? Zhang Baron, shouldn't I be here? When he looked up, there were just some familiar ids. Yeshi raised his eyebrows slightly surprised. However, he looked at these ids and didn't hide anything. Everyone knew it anyway, so he said it directly. This live broadcast room is different. Only special people can come in. I believe you haven't forgotten the few seconds when I wiped out all living beings in my last live broadcast. It has something to do with Tai Su, and the parallel world that I almost mentioned. The live broadcast we are watching now is a live broadcast of how the Supreme Being in the heaven wants to overlap another parallel universe with this universe. To be honest, I am very curious about this practice, but I am more curious about how many times this overlap of parallel universes has happened in the long events in the past. The live broadcast room at this time seemed a little weird. And the live broadcast room was also empty, with only Yeshi's voice coming out. When the voice fell, the whole live broadcast room was so quiet that the sound of a needle falling could be heard. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 424. Tai Shanglajun, the more you know, the farther you are from the truth sometimes. Anonymous, I didn't expect this to be the overlap of two live broadcast universes, ha ha ha, the anchor is really a weirdo, he dares to do such a thing. Do you know who is doing this? I am God. Yeshen's live broadcast room is really exciting, but fortunately you didn't open it to everyone to watch. otherwise as many people would die as many people. Announcement bird, how come you know everything, but I don't know anything? What exactly happened? Didn't we just watch the failure of establishing the heavenly court, and then the heavenly court and the abyss fought? Did I miss something? Zhang Baron, strictly speaking, that is not the heaven you think so, Lejun. There are very few people in this live broadcast room, and quite a few of them are diving. Therefore, only a few familiarids were chatting, and the living king of hell and black and white impermanence also appeared later. In fact, when I saw the living king of hell, Yeshi was not too surprised, but he was a little surprised when he saw the black and white Vuchain brothers. Ding, as the saying goes, as long as time lasts long enough, the rulers of the underworld will have to change. However, there are thousands of rulers of the underworld, only impermanence will always be there. The time that black and white impermanence exists is longer than the time of several rulers put together. It will take longer. Their force value may not be the top, but in other aspects, they are out and out top ghosts. They are familiar with many secrets that no one knows, especially the secrets about the underworld and hell, followed by the abyss, and heaven, and finally earth. After Yeshi asked the system gave the following answer. Although I am a little curious about the so-called secret, the most important thing now is not this matter. I think everyone knows why I started this live broadcast and what we will see next, but I would like to give you a friendly reminder to keep quick-acting first aid pills, immortal version, on hand. After all, I have never seen the next scene. I still don't know how exciting it will be. Announcement bird, wait, hey, what do you all know? Nothing is known to everyone. I don't know what parallel worlds and overlaps are. What you said true or false? If it is false, just pretend I didn't ask. If it is true, how did I sneak in? Your review is not strict at all. If you find out, you will die. Then I will die soon. Announcement bird, help me, can a kind person explain to me? I am an Annunciation bird, please respect me. However, what makes the bird a little sad is that no one paid any attention to it. Fortunately, Yeshi finally answered, which saved its little face. We are talking about literal meanings, literal parallel universes, and literal universe overlapping. Use your brain to think about it and you will understand what we are talking about. Except for Yeshijhen, no one paid attention to it. Maybe the speak really offended everyone. In fact, when Yeshi thought about the other party's reverse breast flag, he felt that he didn't want to talk to it. This is probably the void in the universe. It's like a little gap in the middle of two non-adjacent bubbles. Just such a small gap is an insurmountable gap for immortals. And when a life holding a white light appears, only then did the good news bird confirm that what the other party said was right. I really understand the matter of parallel universes and parallel universes overlapping literally. Announcement bird, damn it, wandering the universe, this is it. Anonymous, looking down, I think if you are not blind, you will change the wandering universe into the forced wandering universe. You see, the two universes are slowly approaching, and now they have begun to erode each other. I am God, parallel universe overlapping technology, haha, there are not a few people who have this technology. Anchor, you should remember, be careful about everything you see when exploring. Tomcat, all viewers who are watching this live broadcast, as well as readers who are reading the barrage, are you very curious about the universe overlapping technology? Let me tell you, you are right to be curious. This technology can only be possessed by the strongest civilizations or individuals. Now I'm giving you a 10% discount. Listen up, don't ask for 999, just 9,998, just 9,998. Don't miss it when you pass by. Click on the link, rightward arrow, take a photo of the link. Yeshigong wanted to say something sarcastic, but unexpectedly, a barrage floated out. Mysterious passerby, photographed Yeshi. It made him want to take a photo of one, but fortunately after looking at the currency marked by the price, he decisively gave up the idea. Universe. How to describe a universe that appears in front of you? Yeshi was now anxious to describe it, but found that it was impossible to describe it, because the other party's expression had surpassed all the expressions Yeshi knew. Only a ray of light can be seen, a being holding a white light, constantly bringing the two universes closer to each other. In fact, the edges have begun to overlap or erode. Anyway, the beings in those places will notice. It is the death of a group of lives and the emergence of a group of lives. Some memories that do not belong to this universe overlap with the original memories. The dead are alive. People who were alive died. There are also some basic knowledge, even the content printed in textbooks, has changed. This is the knowledge of another universe and the memory of this universe. From a physical perspective, it looks like two large bubbles of nothingness are gradually coming together. In fact, it should be one ball of chaos, melting into another ball of chaos. The colors of chaos cannot be seen clearly. I can only clearly see the light holding a parallel universe forward. That light makes some beings feel so familiar. The same is true for Yeshi. But it is indeed the other person, the Supreme Being in heaven, the Holy Mother of Taiyuan. After she failed to establish the heavenly court, she was directly counterattacked by countless laws of the universe and cause and effect. She couldn't bear such a heavy cause and effect at all. Fortunately, she was prepared. He chose an expanding dead body, another parallel universe, to take over his cause and effect. Then I want to make the two universes overlap. She must constantly consume her original strength to lift it up forcefully. This kind of consumption is also a very heavy burden for her. However, there is nothing we can do about it. Because the time she had to plan was too short, she could only do this. In fact, the universe is gradually overlapping. In other words, it is slowly overlapping as some people think. But that's a universe. It only takes 44 days to complete the work. How fast and incredible it is. So when the white light is close to the middle, Yeshi saw everything. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 425. The overlap of parallel universes goes from slow to fast. At least it looks like this from the live broadcast room. Once the two universes come into contact, everything will fall into place. It's like one piece of paper is attached to another piece of paper without any gaps, and then it dissolves inside like water. Yeshi seemed to feel the truth from the universe, and the aura on his body gradually became obscured, and the whole person went deeper and deeper. The aura of Tao in his body was rising steadily, including a deeper understanding of the feeling of cultivation. The mystery between heaven and earth seemed to appear in front of him, and countless divine radiances fell on him, bit by bit, soaking his body with many radiances. His physical body and the world echoed each other. In every breath, it comes naturally. Including the feeling of breathing in the world, the trunk of the Kunlun sacred tree climbed higher, and the land, ocean, and sky expanded outward, expanding to infinity. The golden crows in the sun opened their eyes and looked at the mighty energy of heaven and earth, as well as the being who was the center of the world wherever he was. Fairy energy emitted from Yeshi's body, and fairy stones and more mineral veins were naturally formed between heaven and earth. The crystal clear fairy energy condensed into the shape of crystals and fell into the sea. The world that was already very heavy has added another layer of kindness. The world is clearly in the middle of nothingness, but it has a feeling that is more solid and thicker than the mountains, rivers, and earth, as if the 9 heavens and 10 earths are contained in it. Countless branches are sprouting, including the Kunlun sacred tree, which is spreading all the energy it intercepts into the world. At this time, including the world, there are also pieces of land formed, but these lands are not like planets, but like pieces of suspended planes. Yeshi's spiritual thoughts were already filled with fairy light and divine will. When he sways gently, all existence in the world trembles with it. And his spiritual thoughts are not only in this world, but also go out into the universe. Almost instantly, he feels like he is in harmony with the Tao. The long river of time flows past his spiritual thoughts, carrying countless huge powers, as well as the strange abyss traveling from the depths of time. The bright source of life radiates from his body. Only after understanding the nature of the universe, Yeshi's cultivation level has been greatly improved. The vast aura just passed by in a flash, but it made many people feel it. I always thought that Yeshi was restraining his strength and aura just to prevent scaring others, but at this moment, the aura of eternal power mixed with divine will came. The whole universe has a faint and dark aura fluctuation, which is imperceptible. Where did this great power come from? I have never heard of it before. It seems to be coming from a special place, but this aura is too young. It is hard to imagine that one has reached such a level of cultivation in such years. It is unbelievable. Is this the illegitimate child of heaven? Perhaps the big boss in heaven is reincarnated. An unknown voice came from the dark side of the universe. Once a life is washed away by time, it will bear the mark of time. But obviously, he is too young and has not left any trace of time. Who is he? It's that strange place. That strange place holds many secrets. No wonder it can give birth to such a strange being. How did he reach this level without even spending 100 years of mortal life? Destiny, my best friend, time, my companion, please help me find out where the new powerful existence in front of me comes from. Has he reached the golden immortal? Even though he has not reached it physically, his heart has already reached it. Is there such a backward student in the heaven? How come I don't know how you did it? No news about the newly promoted golden immortal has been found. Anger, as well as doubts and curiosity, all rushed towards Yeshi's aura. And Yeshi also noticed in an instant that countless investigative methods were coming towards him. Among them are the powers of the abyss and heaven. Yeshi's eyes were filled with dreamy colors, and in the dream, there was a solid fairy light. He frowned. Teishueg returned to his arms. All investigations into him must pass the Teishueg level before they can continue. The overlap of parallel universes in the live broadcast room continues. In fact, some big guys in the live broadcast room also felt the aura of Yeshi, but few of them immediately thought of Yeshi's aura. Because the dream power in Yeshi's body is enough to attract people's attention. Immortals cannot reach heaven in one step, but gods, as long as they have the power, they are gods. Therefore, when many people look at Yeshi, they think Yeshi is powerful, but more people also think that his authority is powerful. When he caught Chaos Zhong's first glow of fairy light, the dreamy colors condensed. In the live broadcast room, there were also people chatting about each other. Tomcat, oh, let me go, I almost slipped into the abyss just now. Although I didn't go in, I heard the news that another innate fifth wife was born. It's okay to talk about it here, but it's not. We know which being was born. Taisu alone has already made everything chaotic. One more person will make it worse. Is there still a way for us to do business? Zhang Baron, be careful with your words and deeds. The live broadcast room is not a place outside the law. Bird of good news, shivering, afraid to make a sound. I am God. Just now another incredible existence appeared in the universe, and this happened in a parallel universe. This is the Holy Mother of God. Tai Shanglajun, hush, be careful with your words and actions. Unnamed, I don't know which old immortal came out. He made such a big noise. As soon as he came out, he is probably going to die. Those old people in the universe are more ruthless in their calculations. Haha, he showed up in such a big way. This must be calculated to give away the golden elixir. Mysterious passerby, where is the anchor? Why doesn't the anchor say a few words? Yeshi's whole body was now surrounded by fairy light and Taoism, and his whole body was full of divine power. Just standing there, he felt a transcendent and transcendent spirit, looking down upon him for the rest of his life. Countless thoughts of life hovered around him, and every place was like a fairyland. His whole body was surrounded by purple energy and colorful energy, but the most prominent thing was his eyes, which were vast and evolving everything in the world, including the overlapping of parallel universes happening in front of him. The rosy clouds are dazzling, the earth is filled with golden light. The spirit of the fairy spirit is hazy, shrouding the world. The auspicious energy flows down like a waterfall. The Holy Spirit altar is as bright as rain. And yes, she blinked. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 426. Yes, she blinked his eyes. All his thoughts came back from the realization just now and returned to his body again. He felt that his body was being nourished by his improved spirit, and his 5 orifices were filled with crystal clear light. And he was holding an Teishu egg in his arms, and in front of him was an overlapping live broadcast of parallel universes going on. Call. Yes, she took out a long breath, only to find that he breathed out fairy light full of auspicious energy. This. Watching the overlapping of parallel universes this time can actually bring me such a powerful improvement. Ding, you are knowledgeable and make promises, and you are rich in accumulation but thin in hair. Congratulations to the host. You have reached the strength to stand on the stage of the universe. From now on, you can swim even in the multiverse or higher dimensions. In the process of continuous advancement of life and non-life, material and non-material, many artificial methods of dividing realms have emerged, including the Shenzang system that hosted you before. The same is true, and the ascension to immortality after Shenzang will still be. There is a path to follow, but all roads in the world are paths that others have taken. Starting from Jinxian, you have begun to open up a new path. Ding, the system permissions have begun to be unlocked, the live broadcast of this universe is fully unlocked, the live broadcast of the multiverse is enabled, and the host can add various functions at will through the system. Yes, she was quite surprised when he heard these words from the system. Golden Immortal. Is it your own choice to choose the path after Jinxian? Am I a Golden Immortal now? Yes, she blinked and looked at the live broadcast room again. He knows. This is because the overlap of parallel universes gave him a little aura, and this aura aroused all the power in his body, exploding the accumulated power, and then directly completed the upgrade of life. He raised his hand, but did not feel any special changes in his body. It seems that this Golden Immortal is nothing more than that. However, when his consciousness spread to more places, he found that he saw more. Some people see a word, that is a word. Some people can see the meaning of a word when they see it. And when some people see a word, they can see an entire civilization behind the word and all the time that civilization has experienced. And this is Yeshi's current state. Mountains are still mountains, water is water, mountains are not mountains, water is not water, mountains are still mountains, and water is still water. Yeshi has reached the third realm. From this state on, the mountains and waters have been smeared by him. His thoughts are extremely pure, without a trace of distracting thoughts, and when a thought blooms, it is an endless thought. Ah, yes, I also find this strange scene of overlapping parallel worlds in front of me very shocking. Yes, she said this while looking at the barrage in the live broadcast room. By the way, you are talking about the emergence of a new great power in the universe? Will this great power affect the overlapping cause and effect of parallel worlds? I am God, of course, a single move can affect the whole body. If something like this happens at this time, God really doesn't know what to say. When heaven and earth come together, luck comes and heroes are not free. I guess it is better to establish heaven when I was in trouble. I don't know why I couldn't think of setting up a heavenly court. Zhongbaran, the old heaven has only fallen, but its status as a heaven is still there, including the authority of the Emperor of Heaven, which has only been slashed, but its status is still there. Such an act of eagerness for quick success cannot succeed. There will be many chain reactions that will make her regretful. Heaven is not so easy to establish, not even Tianzun can do it, let alone her. This time the golden immortal is born, it is just a backlash of luck. Unnamed, unfortunately, this golden immortal may not live long. Everyone understands, when you come out to hang out, the most important thing is your strength and background. If you can fight, what's the use of being able to fight? Is that a bad boy? Tomcat, you are very resentful, that's because you are not good enough to fight, otherwise God will take turns and come to my house this year. Anonymous, oh, the person who said this is still being suppressed in hell. Yes, she just spoke out to show that he was still here, and emphasized his proof of presence. However, I found that in this live broadcast room, I actually had no sense of presence. Everyone was talking about the newly born golden immortal and had completely forgotten about their noble Yeshen. However, this is a good thing. Tai Shanglajun, I heard that nothing was found, but Tai Su's head was touched, making these people even more unlucky. Mysterious passerby, I remember that the anchor seems to be related to a congenital fifth wife. Tomcat, are you talking about the water planet? I don't know which bastard moved it away. If there really is an innate fifth wife on that planet, I suspect that the ashes of the little Poseidon have been raised. No one in this live broadcast room can do that thing. Damn, why are you doing this, little Poseidon? Yes, she was watching on the side, and at this moment he couldn't help but give the blue cat a thumbs up. That's very good, keep talking. But it's true. Both emotionally and intellectually. It is impossible for Yeshi to have anything to do with Xiantian Wutai. If he doesn't reach that level of strength, anyone who wants to contact her will die. So Yeshi silently hugged the Teishu egg in his arms, then dispersed the golden fairy aura on his body a little, and quickly integrated into the live broadcast room. Indeed, that makes sense. So that's how it is. I thought so too. Yes, that's right, that's it. Yes, she said happily in the live broadcast room, and even grabbed a handful of Teishu eggs by the way. Teishu Dan was as quiet as if he were dead, and he didn't know what he would feel like if he were conscious. The live broadcast room is still going on. Yes, she quickly completed the transformation of the person involved into a happy person, which shocked the system. The overlap of parallel worlds has occurred many times in history. Therefore, none of the living bosses pay much attention to this matter. Yes, she was just a little surprised at first, but later he could watch the live broadcast while eating watermelon. Later, we simply gathered the pangolins and took turns watching the live broadcast. It's said to be taking turns, but in fact only pangolins are on duty here. And yes, she practiced hard. Call. A kun moves along the ocean, and on its back lies the owner of the entire world. There is also a fishing rod that moves as kun moves. The aura of the entire world has been completely transformed into high-level fairy energy, and is even moving to a higher level. Yeshi's sex nourishes life. When he wakes up again, his body will reach the level of a golden immortal. Should I say it or not? What Yeshi lacked most was energy. 44 days. Yeshi slept most of the time. And when the 44th day arrives, in the entire universe, no matter where we are or what we are experiencing, the sound of the cracking eggshell is heard in the ears of all living beings. Kaka. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 427. When the sound of cracking eggshells came, Yeshi's consciousness also reawakened from his practice. He subconsciously thought of the Teishu egg, and his heart tightened for a moment, but the Teishu egg was still lying next to him intact. There are only 44 days, if Teishu can be born. There is no need to fight between heavenly court and abyss. They walk hand in hand into hell, just as companions. The sound of the eggshell breaking is exactly the sound of the entire universe being overlaid by another parallel universe. When the two universes completely overlap, the original universe will break open like an egg dropped on the ground and form a new egg with the other universe. I don't know how many times I have experienced this kind of thing in the past time. So when the sound sounded, it suddenly awakened the memories of many people, even those who had experienced reincarnation. The sound of the universe's destruction was so clear and terrifying. But this moment disappeared, and all the memories disappeared together with the sound. It was as if everything had never happened. It's just that some people who have been dead for more than 10 years and were cremated more than 10 years ago suddenly appear in the world. And those who have very different memories of one thing. However, this situation will soon be covered, because most people will only suspect that there is something wrong with themselves or their own memory, but not that there is something wrong with the world. Even when the truth is right in front of them. Yes, she saw the overlap of the two universes, and also saw the countless universes outside the universe, as well as the existence in higher dimensions looking down on life on Earth. He closed the live broadcast room silently, and then sent the pangolin, which had been sitting here with a stiff face for dozens of days, out to the blue star. He also went out. Everything returned to normal, and even the memory of that battle became blurry. It has even reached the point where if you don't open Yeshi's live broadcast platform to watch the replay, you will completely forget what happened. A lot of things are being erased. For example, people who still exist in this universe but are dead in another universe will suddenly die suddenly. This is erosion from the universe, and mortals are powerless to stop it. Fortunately, the overlapping power of the universe cannot erase the traces of Yeshi's existence, but the battle and many key messages he once said are blurred. Many people were so frightened that they did not dare to leave Yeshi's platform. Why did I suddenly forget about establishing a new heaven? What's wrong with me? Did I suffer from Alzheimer's disease early? It's so scary. Why do I remember that the leader of the country next door has changed? It's not this old black man. Why is it still him now? Hasn't he been dead for more than 10 years? I personally delivered the body for cremation, but when it came back 20 years later, the authorities told me that the wrong body was burned. Is this true? But we clearly inspected it at the time. The content of my exam has changed. It's so strange. I remember I just copied this ancient text dozens of times. Why did it suddenly change into such an unfamiliar word? It's incredible. All the textbooks are like this. Did I remember it wrong? There are many popular songs. Are the lyrics in them really like this? Why are everyone around me the same as me? Their memories are the same as mine, but these memories are different from the records in the world. I have completely forgotten the content of Yeshen's last live broadcast. I felt scared. It wasn't until I clicked on the live broadcast room that I realized that it turned out to be a live broadcast of the establishment of the Heavenly Court and the battle between the Abyss and the Heavenly Court. All kinds of news are being refreshed crazily on his platform. A lot of news would be controlled in other places, but Yeshi's platform, which is specially built for live broadcasting, can communicate with different worlds without basically any restrictions. So some people who can't find answers on the internet in this world have flocked here. Although this platform has always been the largest communication platform, after all, it is not limited to one world, but at this time, there are still unexpectedly many people coming in. Even those beings in other worlds that were not interested in these things before have entered the live broadcast room and participated in the discussion of these things. The impact of the overlapping of parallel worlds has quickly radiated to the entire universe. The information I know here is already so messy, let alone other places. I heard that the cosmic coordinates of some stars have changed. Yes, she looked at the pangolin and said this. The pangolin nodded, then staggered, lowered his head, and picked up a piece of phoenix feather. The corner of Yeshi's eye twitched when he saw it. I'm thinking, one overlap of parallel universes has already brought about so many small and vast changes. What about 10, 100, or 1,000 times? Will this universe still be the original universe by then? How many times have the universes overlapped in the past years? Is this kind of thing so casual? What about other universes? Have they overlapped? If other universes have also encountered a catastrophe and must overlap to resolve the cause and effect, will the power of their universe take this universe and overlap it? Questions came out of Yeshi's mouth one after another. The pangolin has no intention of picking up the 1,000-year-old elixir on the ground. So the corresponding records have been erased. Yezi, why do you think so much? Anyway, we can't stop it, just keep watching. Yeshi shook his head, his eyes a little solemn. Don't you think the questions I think are terrible? Pangolin shook his head. That's because you haven't seen the restarted small universe. The more powerful the universe is, the more it can't be restarted. It can only continue to move forward along the timeline of the universe. The reason why the universe overlaps now is that the great man in the heavenly court did this to untie the cause and effect that was entangled in himself. Otherwise, who would go crazy to do this? Yezi, you haven't been to other universes, this is very reasonable, but you just need to go to other places to see it. This is already the most normal place. Yeshi's brows loosened. He just thought of the paradox of the ship of Theseus. He never pursued eternal truth, so even if he was told that there was no truth in the world, he wouldn't be a big deal. At most, he would think that the actions of these big guys were quite outrageous, but he wouldn't rush up to fight like crazy. Thousands of lights lit up. This is a dazzling world. The universe returned to peace again, and the planets and dead lives that were blown up and raised before all appeared like magic. To pull back the timeline in a sufficiently powerful universe is something that even a golden immortal cannot do. The weaker the universe, the easier it is to restart and pull back the timeline. However, it is different here. Even if the heavenly venerable wants to pull back the timeline, he must avoid the time when other heavenly venerables exist, otherwise he will not succeed. So there is a means of compensation for the parallel universe. Whether this means is good or bad, no one knows. Yeshi just slowly opened the system panel. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 428. This kind of thing involves some kind of universe or deity. It has nothing to do with Yeshi, an ordinary explorer. If it doesn't work out, he can run away with a bucket, and when necessary, he can also run away with his home planet in a bucket. Although there are many secrets on the home planet that have not been revealed, it is not a big problem. These seemingly distant things, Yeshi quickly forgot about, and just posted a blog post under his account. Very strange things do happen in the universe, so you will find that strange people and events will appear around you in the future, but this is not important. The universe is not a scientific and rational universe, but a world of rolling dice. Don't delve too deeply into what happened to you. Sometimes the truth is often very simple, and the most incredible answer is often the truest one, but truth usually means it is difficult to accept. After he finished sending these, I plan to take the pangolins to Kunlun Mountain for a walk. The legendary ancestor of 10,000 mountains, the first sacred mountain, Kunlun ruins. In fact, in addition to this sacred mountain, there are also Mount Buzhu and Mount Sumi, which only exist in myths and legends. Yeshi has never seen any of them. There was no news from the 3 fairy islands. Before that, the system told him that it was not recommended to move forward to some mysterious places on the blue star, so he kept looking towards infinity. But this time it's different. With a deep curiosity about the universe and mythology, and the completely unimportant golden immortal cultivation, the most important thing, Yeshi finally planned to conduct an in-depth exploration of his home planet. I don't know how many myths, legends, and historical records will be unearthed this time. So when the news came out, many people on the internet were a little confused. I thought I was retiring. I remember that I haven't broadcast live for more than 40 days this time. I didn't expect that he would give us such a big surprise as soon as he appeared. Kunlun Mountain, there are national level forces guarding there, and outsiders are not allowed to go. Oh, Yeshen, then it will be fine. Actually, I'm still worried about what happened to me. Is there something wrong with me or the whole world? Why is it completely different from what I remember? Can you explain to us what happened in the universe? Is it really impossible to explain it at all? Not even Yeshen can explain it. Is it possible that you said you don't remember? Have you forgotten what you experienced in the live broadcast room? The memory of those few seconds is gone. I guess even if I press those words into your mind, you will all be forgotten. The Earth God who had been rescued by Yeshi stood in an open space, looking into the distance and hesitated to speak. He wanted to find the immortal named Ye, but he was worried that he was too worried. Besides, even the Lord of Taishan Prefecture is here, does he not need to worry too much? There is not only Taishan Mansion King here, but also more powerful beings who are sleeping, making Tudong Gong and his friend Shan Shen unable to help but feel palpitations every time they feel it. Finally, despite hesitation, he went to look for Yeshi and told Yeshi what they were worried about. As for how to contact me, high-end monks often have simple contact methods, which is to send private messages. Other than that, there was no way to contact Yeshi. He is like an observer who occasionally appears in this universe. He is the only one who fishes for people, and no one else fishes for him. When Kraken passed the news to Yeshi, he was ready to go, and at the same time he brought his first little friend, the cornucopia, no, it was the 7-saint emperor demon pangolin. The undestined fruits, bodhisattva stones, wish-fulfilling beads, dharma incense, etc. that Yeshi obtained in the world of dragons have all been taken into his own world. By the way, I also searched the small treasure house of bronze divine vine and dug out many treasures. Anyway, there are already several huge medicinal gardens in his world. These medicinal gardens are full of species of different species. They are full of spiritual energy. There are even plants whose ginseng is too old and has become refined. All, in one sentence, there is nothing lacking in his world except people. Even the barren and lifeless sea has given birth to new life from the immortal stone. Certainly. Yeshi once issued a ban on the world, and it has not been lifted yet. Therefore, life is life, but it is rare and pitiful. Spirits are spirits, but wisdom has been obscured. There are already many treasures in his world. The important thing is that many of them can be planted and grow more. There were a bit few books on scriptures and the like, but after squeezing the pangolins, there were more in an instant. He once got a lucky gold coin in the deep sea of Blue Star. This lucky gold coin was only used once and not used a second time. This is of course because Yeshi's ability values the fun of exploration more than the harvest, but the more reason is that Yeshi doesn't want to rely on luck. Luck is not everything, but without luck nothing is impossible. Yeshi threw the golden lucky gold coin upwards. He held it casually in his hand without looking at whether the gold coin was heads or tails, because gold coins were always heads. In the past, he knew that the treasures he obtained were treasures, but he did not know where they came from. But now, with his eyes, he can see it at once. This lucky gold coin comes from a great god who has not yet fallen, but I don't know why it ended up in the old Atlantis. About tens of thousands of years ago. It is a product of frequent transactions between Blue Star and other civilizations. As Yeshi's strength improved, some treasures gradually only served the purpose of collection and decoration. However, this gold coin is not like that. It carries the power of the pillar of creation, and can actually continue to add luck to Yeshi, who has become a golden immortal. The vastness of the universe astonishes even saints. Even if it is a war between the abyss and heaven, it is only a corner, not a comprehensive display. Ding dong. After Yeshi heard the news from the Earth God, he threw the lucky gold coin to the greedy pangolin and touched it for a while, then took it back. It looks like Blue Star is getting more and more interesting. Anyway, now interstellar navigation, ancient starry sky roads, and cosmic trade have been opened. Even if the establishment of the heavenly court failed, the ancient starry sky roads that were left open throughout the universe have excited all civilizations. This of course includes, in the past, yes, Dongsheng Shenzhou. When Yeshi thought of Dongsheng China, he thought of Ala country. When he thought of Ala country, he thought of Huaguo Mountain. When he thought of Huaguo Mountain, he thought of Monkey King, the Monkey King. Sun Wukong does know where he is. Just under the 18 levels of hell. Hey, forget it, let's go to Kunlun Mountain first. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 429. When Yeshi's figure gradually moved from far away to near, some people with ulterior motives began to have different thoughts. At the beginning, before the world has completely awakened, Yeshi's series of actions have left many beings amazed, confused, frightened, shocked, and deeply admired. Many mysterious monuments are at your fingertips, and dangerous places are as if they were on the plains. You can even explore the distant sea of stars. All of this is so admirable and at the same time terrifying. It was like seeing an abnormal life that was no longer of the same type as myself. In ancient times, this is how life feels when seeing thunder falling from the sky, and even the concept of gods is woven into it. However, in modern times, scientists can use thunder, and the veil that used to cover the god of thunder has been disenchanted. And the same is true for Yeshi. In other words, this is how some people view Yet. In this rapidly changing era, as more historical dust and news of spiritual practice from all walks of life come out, the aura of self-centeredness that originally shrouded Yeshi quickly faded away, and he lost the respect and fear he once had. Instead, he wanted to stretch out his palms and grab those envious treasures, and became the one who loves me. Okay, this is just a forerunner and will definitely be replaced. When people do not understand what the power of nature is, they are afraid of nature. However, when they update and iterate the power of technology, they want to master nature. Yes. It's the same now. Some silent traps have been laid, just waiting to catch the turtle in the jar. They realize that the times have changed, and a mere pioneer does not mean anything. After all, there are already endless powerful forces in this world. You are no longer the only powerful existence. Sir, times have changed. Yeshi felt nothing. His spiritual sense is not used as a decoration. If he does not notice the danger, that means there is no danger. Unless several deities join forces to cause trouble, his current feeling can be deceived. But doesn't that mean he still has his own future body? So, life in some shadows is whispering in hopes of gaining power. Yeshi yawned silently. Various changes on the blue star were reflected in his mind. Of course he was watching, but he didn't pay much attention to it. Instead, open the system and view the map of Kunlun Mountain. The mountain is high and the road is far away, the north wind is howling. Yeshi didn't want to go all the way with his sword, so he took out his little white tiger that he hadn't seen for a long time, rode on the white tiger, and flew away from the sky. He was not the first monk to fly in the sky. Because Blue Star has now become a pure world of monks, many people are whizzing by with fairy swords or flying discs on their feet. And the spaceship? It's just the buildings on the ground, but it's still a steel forest. Looking at it this way, it may feel a little inconsistent, but this is the charm of this world with weird waves and prosperous immortality. Yeshi sat sideways on the white tiger mount, and the pangolin also took a small cloud and sat on it. This was Yeshi's first adventure. It was the first time that a friend came, but this friend was more afraid of Kunlun. When the cold glaciers come with the cold wind. Yeshi heard some anxious voices from the side. Kunlun, are you really determined that you have Kunlun here? Are you really sure it is the real Kunlun? I think it is fake. What do you think? If it is fake, we can go in together, but if it is true, can we just turn around and walk? Kunlun is very dangerous. I heard a lot of legends about the Kunlun gods from my grandparents. We'd better not go to that kind of place. Can't you find a place with a smaller backstage? It's both heaven and Kunlun. How did you live so long? I thought I was free enough, but I didn't expect you to be there in the world. Yizi, are you really not going to think about it again? Kunlun is indeed a good place, but good places are dangerous. You know, I never tell lies. When I say danger, it is really dangerous. I never don't lie. I've said so much, why don't you just reply? The pangolin couldn't hold it any longer. Then he saw Yeshi nodded. Oh! His lungs almost exploded, and he could only keep comforting himself. Yeshi's life seemed to have been won. It seemed that he was the one who defeated others. He probably had to defeat others to death. Even the existence on Kunlun should be like this. Bar. The pangolin was a little hesitant, but after seeing Yeshi's casual expression, he confirmed this once again. Without a doubt, it is. In fact, Yeshi's carelessness was not intended to target the pangolin, but he felt a slight fetal movement in one of his eggs. It is not the Teishu egg, but the unicorn egg taken from the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. He excitedly went to explore Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum just for this unicorn egg. Unfortunately, he didn't know why. It had been left in the world for so long, but there was still no movement at all. And after approaching Kunlun Mountain, the unicorn egg finally moved. Yeshi felt a little strange. After checking, it was found that after approaching Kunlun Mountain, the Kunlun sacred tree also had a different change. The energy it attracted had a bit of purple gold. It was this special energy that made Kailan move. It seems that I am right to come to Kunlun now. I just don't know how dangerous Kunlun is, which is said to be very dangerous by the system. Maybe I can see the ancients tens of thousands of years ago and ask what happened in this world. These thoughts flashed through Yeshi's mind. The wooden hairpin and green robe moved with the wind, which also disturbed some people's hearts. Does Yeshi not understand what Kunlun means at all? He came to Kunlun while broadcasting live. Didn't anyone remind him from the official side? He has been standing on the top for too long. He thinks he is invincible, but he doesn't know that the world has changed. He is no longer the mysterious Yeshen before, but just an ordinary cultivator. Even if he is a little special, he is not the same as the existence in Kunlun. Don't mention these. Even the newly awakened Zilong can't be solved by this Yeshen. There are many people reminding him in his live broadcast room, and the pangolin is also reminding him, but Yeshi turned a blind eye. It seems that he is dead this time. It's too smooth sailing. He thought the world was still the jeweling world before. Unfortunately, Yeshen, the times have changed. Now it's our time. Still have to be careful of the treasures in his hand. Of course, they are all ours. It's better to ask what this treasure that connects the world is. He flew into the sky with this treasure. Now, these should be ours. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 430. These people have already opened a live broadcast room to watch how Yeshi's position moves in real time. They have never seen such a stupid person. They clearly know that times have changed, but they have not shown any behavior to adapt to this era. They still live as they did before, live broadcasting so arbitrarily and recklessly. As everyone knows. My dear Yeshen, times have changed, and there are now a lot of monks like you. Yeshi didn't know this, nor did he know that there were many people stopping him from going to Kunlun on his way there. Even if he knew it, he wouldn't take it seriously. He never cared about these things. He said it as if others had previously allowed him to explore their place. The storm quickly spread to other places. The forces and individuals related to Kunlun all know what happened this time. Zhou is nothing more than establishing authority and telling the world that you are not worthy of coming to this place. Perhaps there are also reasons why some beings in Kunlun have been displeased with Yeshi for a long time. In short, when Yeshi was heading towards Kunlun, a lot of news spread around the world like snowflakes, and even the lives in the underworld heard a little bit about it. How should I put it? This news spread far enough. That is to say, the parties involved do not know. Because I can't get in touch. Yeshi is still wondering whether his Kylin requires special energy to hatch, and whether the Kunlun sacred tree can be improved to a higher level. He wondered what would happen if a section of the Kunlun mountains were moved away, and he already had a substantial plan in mind and began to inquire about the system. Ding, regarding the host's current plan, Tongzi can only describe it as a high mountain, but as a friendly reminder, it is best not to move Kunlun mountain, otherwise the impact will be less than that of establishing Tianting. Host, you can't bear this kind of cause and effect now. The ancestor of 10,000 mountains, the mountain of immortality, the most sacred mountain in the world, Tongzi Getong still thinks that the host should act cautiously. Have you forgotten that you are still a cautious and brave person? The system chattered a lot, as if it was afraid that Yeshi would really do something like this, so it kept calm and made insinuations. Yeshi was a little speechless. Okay, that's all I thought about it. I haven't moved yet, so why rush? He looked up at the live broadcast room for the first time. Now, the blue stars in the live broadcast room are particularly active, speaking in languages that aliens cannot understand. Yeshi changed his position, sat upside down on the white tiger, leaned on it, then looked at the live broadcast room and said, "Actually, this is not the first time I have come across news about Kunlun Mountain. I'm not talking about the information on the surface or the information behind the scenes. I'm talking about the time I explored the secrets in Jingzhou ancient city. Do you still remember those beings we met in the ghost cave?" Yeshi suddenly brought the topic here, which made many people confused, but a considerable number of people suddenly realized it, and then started to popularize science like crazy. I only heard Yeshi continue to say. In that expedition to Jingzhou ancient city, we actually saw a lot of things related to Kunlun. Meteor jade, the weird art of immortality, the sword, the Queen Jingzhou behind it, and the special hanging ladder, all are inextricably related to Kunlun. Of course, the one with the closest relationship is the Kunlun sacred tree. Yeshi made a ha-ha sound when he said this, but some people hiding behind the screen gritted their teeth in hatred. When I was exploring the ancient city of Jingzhou, I discovered that Jingzhou Kingdom and Queen Jingzhou ended up like this. The biggest factor was a mysterious clan from Kunlun, which guided everything about Queen Jingzhou, including longevity. Skill. It was precisely because they gave Queen Jingzhou something important that she could survive forever, even though she died in the end. Including the Kunlun sacred tree, if it's no accident, it was also given to Queen Jingzhou by the mysterious clan from Kunlun. It can be said that they hidden behind Queen Jingzhou are the ones who dominate everything we see after 1,000 years. It's true, I seem to have heard from some big guys that Kunlun is very powerful and does not allow outsiders to enter at all. It was originally heavily guarded, but later even these were expelled. Many of the WA clan we saw came down from the Kunlun mountains. They are so arrogant that they don't even bother to talk to us humans, but rumors, they were forced to come down from the Kunlun mountains. I don't care about this either, knowing the truth and falsehood, it's just a matter of fun. ALA country, Kunlun is not an easy place to get along with, but as the saying goes, evil people will be punished by evil people. Le, this is a great thing to say. Kunlun Mountain, the ancestor of all mountains, we can also take a look at this place. It's like no one has seen it. Laughs, you have definitely never seen it. The places you have been to are only on the outside, you have not seen anything inside, but Lao Ye is different, he will definitely rush to the innermost part, there will be a good show. Now read. 1,000 miles away, why do I always feel that you guys know something terrible behind our backs, is it related to the Kunlun Mountains? Discussions are still going on in the live broadcast room here, and Yeshi is also gradually popularizing the science about Kunlun Su. Then he slowly opened his contact bar. After Kraken's reminder, Yeshi knew that many people were looking for him, and it seemed that there was news related to him. As expected. Yeshi made a scoffing sound. I just feel that these people are full and have nothing to do. These people came from the official side, the Taoist priest who casually rescued them, and a few people who had been dead for thousands of years. Many people have sent news. However, these messages are not all consistent, and in some places there are conflicts. Yeshi took one look at it and closed it, not taking it seriously. This mess seems to be very marketable and weird. To him, it doesn't matter. The clouds follow the dragon, the wind follows the tiger. Yeshi has already felt it. The majestic breath of thousands of mountains. It's like an extremely huge giant that came from eternity, standing in front of it, never falling down, full of vastness and ancient meaning, making people feel that time is long, and it lasts forever. For Yeshi, this feeling is particularly strong. Faced with this eternal existence, no one will not be in awe. Even pangolins are like this. Bai Hu's eyes also turned solemn. Only a trembling voice was heard saying, "This is the real Kunlun. You actually have the real Kunlun here. The ancestor of all mountains, the court of immortals, the #1 sacred mountain in the world, Kunlun Su. What kind of planet is your planet? Is it a fragment of the former divine continent? 3 islands and 10 continents, thousands of gods gathered together, the land of dragon veins.